And that's the lay of it this time. I was in my office, straightening out the mail, and enjoying some of the threatening letters what the boys who lack a sense of humor had sent me, when this Ernest Thompson blows in. And blows ain't no fancy way of putting it, neither. This guy actually blows, and it's near 5 minutes before he quits blowing and opens up.
Are you afraid of the Ku Klux Klan?
That's his first crack out of the box. I ain't afraid of nothing. I tell him the truth, and then, want to be absolutely on the level, I ask, providing there's enough jack in it. He trots out a sigh like my words had lifted a weight from his chest.
You don't happen to belong to that order?
I think he was going to call it something else, but from the twitching of his mouth I get the idea that he went in some fear of that same order. No, I says. I don't belong to any order. Of course, I'm like all Americans, a born joiner. It just comes to us like children playing. We want to be in on everything that's secret and full of fancy names and trick grips. But it wouldn't work with me. It'd be mighty bad in my line. I'd have to take an oath never to harm a brother. Not that I wouldn't keep my oath, but think of the catch in it. I might just be drawing a bead on a lad when I'd spot his button, then I'd have to drop my gun. Of course, that ain't so bad, but that same lad mightn't be wise that I was one of the crowd and, Bluey, he'd blow my roof off. No, I like to play the game alone. And that's why I ain't never fallen for the lure of being a joiner. Well, this lad must have had the idea that half the country belonged to the Ku Klux, and that the other half went about in fear of them. For when he finds out that I don't belong, he beams all over and pump handles me a couple of 100 times. And he comes out with the glad tidings that a gent I helped out of trouble had told him about me. With that, he opens up with the bad news. His son had been took by the Ku Klux. His boy, Willie Thompson, who was only 17, goes hunting around the woods a bit outside of the town they live in. Clinton is the name of the burg, and it's in the west, which is all I'm at liberty to tell about it, except that it's a county seat. Well, Willie stumbles across a bunch of the Klan and sees them tar and feather a woman, and what's more, he recognizes some of the Klan, this boy having an eye for big feet and ear for low voices. It appears that this woman had sold liquor to a member of the Klan, who told her his poor old father was dying. You see, her husband run a drugstore. Now, wasn't that just too sweet of the boys? Of course, they checked up a lot of other things against her, too, and gave her warning to leave town in 24 hours. Yep, they gave her all those little courtesies, what a lady should expect. But the real secret of the story goes that one of the lads of the nightshirt brigade was in love with the woman and wanted to get hunked because she couldn't see him a mile. Now that's Ernest Thompson's side of the story, and not mine. But at all events, the town of Clinton was pretty well stirred up, and some of the Klan were actually in jail for as much as 10 minutes. But when the trial came off, this Willie Thompson had been kidnapped. The father worried, of course, but he thought the boy would be back when the trial was over. That was 2 weeks ago. The trial had blown up, and the boy never heard from again. Why, the whole thing seemed unbelievable. Think of it. Here was this man with a good suspicion, if not an actual knowledge, of who had his son, and he trots all the way up to the city for me. Imagine if it had been my boy, Bluey. I'd have bumped that gang off 1, 2, 3 right down the line. But this lad was scared stiff. If he made a break to the authorities, he got a threatening letter, and, well, here he was. But he made his offer a very alluring one, a good, fat check, for this Thompson was a wealthy farmer. So I took the case, and you should have seen his face light up.
I didn't think that I could get anyone to defy the Klan.
He takes me by the hand again.
I hope that you won't give up when you find what you're up against.
Now that almost made me laugh. Don't you worry about me, I says. And don't you worry about the boy. If he's alive and the Klan have him, why, I'll get him back to you in jig time. No mistake.